If you're going to rent a storefront or a space for a restaurant or other commercial space, you probably are coming across the letters NNN. What does it mean? NNN stands for triple net. Triple net is a type of lease used for commercial retail properties. It's called net because the lease is designed to yield a net profit for the landlord. What this means is that the landlord will get the full rent and not have to pay for building expenses out of it because the tenant will pay for those building expenses. The tenant will pay rent plus an extra monthly charge to cover those expenses. Think of it as an HOA condo owners pay. There are three types of net leases: single, double, and triple net. In a single net lease, tenant pays for their share of the property taxes for the property. Double net, the tenant pays taxes and insurance. And finally, in a triple net lease, tenant pays taxes, insurance, and operating expenses, or CAM, short for common area maintenance. CAM expenses are any and all costs to operate the property. Typical CAM expenses can include, but are not limited to, trash removal, cleaning services, water and power, general maintenance, and repairs. If the landlord hired a property management company to manage the property, their fees are part of these operating expenses. If the landlord hired a specialist to lower the property taxes, that fee can be included as well. The lease will spell out what is included and not included in operating expenses. Each tenant's CAM charge is calculated according to how much space they occupy, their pro rata share. As an example, if a property has 10,000 square feet of leasable space and there are 10 units, each the same size, each unit has a pro rata share of 10%. So a tenant leasing one unit will be responsible for 10% of the triple net expenses. If this 10,000 square foot property is just one big unit, then the tenant will be responsible for 100% of the triple net expenses. Some landlords will combine the property tax, insurance, and operating expenses into a single monthly CAM charge, while others will separate each net as a separate charge. Because expenses can vary and typically increase annually, these monthly charges are an estimate that is reconciled after the end of each year. Each tenant will receive a reconciliation statement, usually by the end of the first quarter of the following year. The landlord will add up the actual amount paid for each triple net expense, compare that to what the tenant paid as an estimate throughout the year, and if the amount the tenant paid is less than what the actual expenses are, the tenant has to pay that difference to the landlord. Conversely, if the tenant paid more than what the actual expenses are, the tenant will get a credit for that difference that is usually applied to future rent charges. Here's an example using that 10,000 square foot property with 10 units. Let's say taxes are 31 cents per square foot, insurance 2 cents, and operating expenses 3 cents. Total triple net expenses is 36 cents per square foot, or $360 as additional rent per month, adding up to $4,320 paid by the end of the year. If the pro rata share of actual expenses for the year was $4,320, then the tenant owes nothing. If the actual pro rata share of expenses was $5,000, the tenant would owe the landlord $680. If the actual pro rata share of expenses was $4,000, the tenant would be owed $320. But wait, there's more. If you've ever rented an apartment, you know you only have to call the landlord or management company to get something fixed. Landlord took care of repairs inside your unit. Not so with a triple net lease. Under a triple net lease, tenant is responsible for maintaining and repairing every part of the premises at tenant's sole cost and expense. This means if something needs fixing inside the unit, tenant has to take care of it. If the front door or window is vandalized, tenant has to get it fixed. If the air conditioning is not working right, tenant has to call an AC repair company. If special appliances are used in the tenant's business that overloads the panel, tenant has to call an electrician to fix it or upgrade it. In most cases, landlord is responsible for maintaining the roof, structural parts of the building, the foundation, and common areas. Everything else inside the unit is the tenant's responsibility. So that's what NNN means, and that is what you can expect if you're looking to rent a space under a triple net lease. This is Dale Shin. Click the thumbs up button, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay tuned for more content.